In the bottom right-hand side, our red Zerg player from a Go Esports, Elazer, one of the few Europeans staying up late to play here today. Taking on the blue Terran in the top left-hand side, Polt, who takes down Omega Banana, pretty smoothly. I wouldn't say there was points where I wouldn't say it was like the easiest win in the world, but there also wasn't a game where he was in like a lot of trouble. It felt like he was for the most part in control, especially in that second game. In the first game, the initial attack was maybe like, oh, but the second game, it really looked like from start through finish, he was in control, but Omega Banana put up a good fight. There was a point where he denied drops on both different sides, and he did very well. So this is Polt Elazer's second round of the IEM Katowice server qualifier. This one's likely to go up on YouTube, so if you're watching on YouTube, hello, like, comment, and subscribe. This is Polt's competitive return. As we set this up, we're going to have a quick question about the server. This is Polt's now official second match. He just beat a player, and this is his second round match. It's his second competitive match since returning from the military. I think it should be alright, because Polt is in America. I mean, I feel like Eastern is fine if it's America versus Europe. Are we going to have a regame? Looks like we're okay. And you will continue this, guys. So a little bit nice from Elazer, realizing a mistake and asking, and just checking it's okay. Polt doesn't for Polt, the ping difference is minimal, right? He's in NA now, so for him, playing on East versus like Central is like 20-30 ping difference. As we do see the hatch gas and pool starting up. So, Elazer getting this ready to go. As we do see the Reaper from Polt on the way out. And so Reaper on the way out, hatch gas and pool coming down. Pretty regular start so far then. Polt will be pretty quick to his command center, and Elazer's always a tricky opponent to play because he does like to do a lot of aggressive builds. He will oftentimes open roaches and a bit of a timing to throw you off your game and then go from there. So there is absolutely a few different ways you'll see Elazer being probably aggressive in this series. I'd be very surprised if he wasn't aggressive at all in this series, unless he's just super confident playing macro anyways. When it comes to MMRs, I believe Polt's breaking that 6k barrier a little bit. I'm not 100% sure. I think maybe 6-1, 6-2k MMR. Elazer, obviously, one of the European players that pushes 7k MMR regularly. Although maybe didn't have the best 2019 compared to a lot of guys. I'm sure he's coming into 2020 raring to go. He is a player who will play every qualifier until he qualifies, and in past years has been one of the players to qualify into Katowice through these very qualifiers. So absolutely somebody to watch out for making a big run here today. Reaper will pop up and toward the main base, and we do have Zergling speed dropping down in the main as well, as kind of expected. Again, no real surprises so far. Third hatch on the way down. Polt does take double gas, so we'll see a starport as a follow-up, and now the question becomes, is it going to be a BC opening, and will Polt play bio? Which I think the answer is yes. Polt has always been a bio player, and I'd be very surprised if he switched from that now, which means for him, typically a battlecruiser opening is unlikely, and this is more likely to be maybe a Viking. I mean, Polt was one of the first players to build a Viking in TvZ. You know, it used to be called the Polt Viking because it used to go around hunting down overlords. He branded that Viking. That's how often he was playing that sort of style. As this tech lab on the barracks about to finish up, a couple of extra Hellions popping from Polt. He's going to give that to the starport, so maybe a Banshee opening here. Banshees and Cloak Banshees, they really give you a good way to stay safe early. Oh no, it is a Fusion Core. Alright then. Well, ignore what I've been saying just yet. It could still be a bio follow-up. There are battlecruiser builds where you go one battlecruiser into the bio. He's actually now building a Banshee. I think that's maybe more of a fake than anything else. Yeah, I think he's going to wait for the BC here. So he could go one BC into bio. If he played mech, I would be very, very shocked. I would be taken away. I won't lie, I haven't caught a lot of Polt streams, so I haven't seen a lot of how he is playing, because it's just not at a good time for me, as that is a nice denial, killing off that Zergling. Elazer will see the starport already building a unit earlier than a battlecruiser should be able to build, so it depends on how much he recognizes there and how good he can identify it. And again, as Fusion Core finishes, we will see the Banshee cancel and the battlecruiser start, so Polt just trying to sell an idea of something that this isn't, based on, Elazer scouting. and then maybe saying, oh, well, you know, it can't be a BC yet, can it? But just seeing a starport and tech lab and no cloak is very, you know, a bit of a giveaway anyways. But again, it could also just be a Viking, but then you don't see a Viking coming after your Overlord, and then Elazer questions, well, in that case, what is it? So I think Elazer's in a pretty good spot in terms of info early. He will play into a Bane Nest, which is a very kind of confident way to say, yeah, I'm pretty sure you are playing Bio here, and it is 2 more barracks, so it looks like it will just be that one single battle cruiser. You can't go into more BCs, because the more BCs you build, the more you slow down the rest of your production. And while that's okay for mech, because the BCs stand around, they do okay, and the mech army can build up slowly and defend, and just have Hellions on the map, the Bio army needs to get on the map, so you can't slow down your production and your other units that much. You need to get onto the map with these Bio units, and so 1 BC is pretty much your limit. Anything more than that, and you really do delay the start of your game way too much. 4th and 5th racks here after a 3rd CC, all of this scouted by Elazer, bar the 3rd CC in the front. But I think that's something which you'll pretty much assume based on the 4th and 5th racks timing, as he sees double engineering base as well, which is also a sign that this isn't just 5 racks 2 base all in. If it was 5 racks 2 base all in, you would generally only go 1 engineering bay with an attack upgrade on it and go from there. We're going to be seeing this first Overlord starting to take some damage. So Overlord taking some hits here. There's a couple of extra Banes morphing in on the low ground. Battle Cruiser dealing some good damage. A couple of drones dropping down. 2 workers killed so far. Queens continuing over. Looking to keep picking away at the BC. 1-1 attack upgrades coming in. The stim pack starting up. And that Overlord still taking a bit of damage here as the Extractor will take some shots. What's nice is the Battlecruiser keeps himself very healthy, so it can definitely come in again at a later point without having to go home and get repaired already. So, doesn't see much chance to do much more right now. Cool, back away, get some more done a bit later on. Would be nice to actually finish that Overlord. The Queens didn't look like they were going to come in towards this to deny it, so he goes after that creep tumor. But yeah, I mean, now the Queens do come in, and now they can transfuse the Overlord. Just felt like they were a bit AFK. Elazer wasn't paying attention. This Overlord maybe could have gone down. Either way, Polt mostly actually looking to try and deny some creep spread, which also isn't a bad idea, right? You keep the creep spread down. It's one of the things you usually hope to do with the Hellions, but Polt's keeping those back. There's only 4 of them. And now this first push from Polt, you know, Marines have stim already. They're going to move out 16 of them with medevacs so they can lift up and get out of there if needed. And again, a lot of creep being cleaned out, so an interesting use of the BC while keeping the Hellions at home. And there's 1-1 on combat shields finishes. Let's see how much of a timing Polt makes out of this, because he will still have the Hellions, which with the armory can morph into Hellbats. His Marines will be quite powerful, because there'll be a second wave of them with a second wave of medevacs, and he can still get out quite easily if he needs to as well. Bring Bane out into the center, the medevacs boosting away up to the top side. The BC going to be coming through in toward the main base, so looking to apply a bit more pressure. Lurkaden dropping down here from Elazer. We do see a couple of drones going down. This BC now is very low, will teleport away, keeps itself alive, gets out of there comfortably. Elazer's been very good at replacing the group spread that's been denied, so he's keeping that moving through the center of the map here. So keeping this moving forwards, keeping that going, that's a very good positive for him. That is something he really does need to kind of keep on top of, really. As we have got 2 more medevacs around the right, and just going to be seeing more Lings, Banes, Queens picking their way through from the rocks here. These Marines going to be pressing forwards, and a couple creep tumors already in some trouble. The Ling, Bane, Hydra, Queen force to the right-hand side, as that's a cancel on the hatchery. A rebuild pretty much right away, and Polt now heading toward the main base. Meanwhile, on the left side of the map, Zergling's going down. A creep tumor or 2 that might be in quite a lot of trouble here very shortly. And that medevac or 2 lifting up and boosting away up the left. And here we go with Marines simming into the main, lifting up once more. And again, Queen and a Hydralisk able to push this back into Queens. What a position from Elazer, and what a snipe. Kills those medevacs, so those Marines will be stranded on their own. That's a beautiful play by Elazer. Knew the medevacs were likely to go out that way. Position his Queens waiting for them. Boom, boom, boom. Thank you very much. Dead medevacs, and you know, take that every day of the week. Fusion Core, building up that rapid reignition system. I still have to remember the name of it. It's an upgrade which you don't see a lot, but if you've got the fusion core and you've got the minerals and gas for it, why not? You are going to benefit from it using medevacs throughout the game. So why not go into that? You see, I mean, these Lings should go down. Don't use the siege tank though. Friendly fire on your own tank down is not super smart. As you do have the extra Lings hanging around. Seismic spines on that lurker den as well, and the hatchery on the right. The thing is, Elazer's just getting a lot of bases up, 80 drones. Doesn't feel like he's being slowed down at all. Now let's talk about the lurkers. The lurker style is something that we saw a lot of players try, and then, you know, especially at home story cup, Serral, Raynor, a lot of success with it, and we haven't really seen it much since then. The Korean scene has kind of abandoned it, apart from Armani. Let's see what Elazer can do with it here against Polt, as he'll put the first 2 lurkers down in the center, a couple more moving into the middle. Tank shots from Polt, very good to push back some of that Bling Bane already. Marines being held up in the center. And we will be seeing again, a couple extra medivacs just pushing through from Polt. 3 more racks, that's going to be 8 racks in total. The tanks, the Marines going down the right-hand side. Tanks will siege, and those lurkers will be in trouble. He has the high ground vision, and Elazer will and burrow. No adaptive talents yet, that will help the lurkers reposition a bit. I love this, the BC just coming back in and just looking around to get rid of a couple extra drones. Has teleport, so can teleport away here once again. We'll leave the parasitic bomb behind when he does so. And we'll just repair that BC and get it ready to go one more time. Bio still through the center. Ghost Academy coming up from Polt here in the natural expansion. Elazer is still also just moving up to the top. So Bling Bane setting up there. Those lurkers and hydras out in the center too. Some Vipers gathering together, and well, those Lingers really just going in after a lot of these SCVs. Banes will look to stop the SCVs from repairing. The repair is pretty late anyways. The Lings have a good surround here. And this base, oh, is it not going to go down? Oh, just goes down the last Baneling or so. 22 workers dropped. Now at the same time, Elazer's taking the chance to push forwards, but I'm not sure about the strength of his army here. Polt will spread and chase, and those lurkers no longer burrowed. He is going to catch a few units as these units get pushed away. Now Elazer dives up the left-hand side, moving towards the third base, trying to deny the mining in this mineral line. So Elazer all over the map, trying to get a lot done as Polt pushes down the right in towards this base down here. Baneling's morphing in, Lurker's morphing in as well, and we are just going to be seeing those Lingers still after some more of these SCVs. So SCVs going down as, oh, the Queen's on move command! Catches a lot of those to Polt through the center of the map. He's losing all of his economy, but I don't know if Elazer can kill the army. I mean, the Lurkers are out of position, so they're trying to fight, you know, they're trying to chase the Bio army. That's not how Lurkers work. Baneling's starting to crash in, but there's not enough of them yet. Tank's being abandoned a little bit as Polt will just go forward to the Bio. He's cleaned up the attack on the other side of the map, so he's not losing anything extra anymore. Oh my god, he's found the Overlord farm. He can kill this hatchery, he can get up here, he can kill these Overlords. Lurker's going to try and burrow catch some of the Marines going up the ramp. He's not going to go for the Overlords. Instead, he's got the production structures, killing off these Zerglings. The Lurkers obviously can't get up here safely. And now Elazer's taking a lot of damage. And round 2 of Polt pushing across the map. He sees these Lurkers already, so he can sim in towards them. Scans, Cryptumors will take the initial hits. He's going to jump at the same time on the Lurkers, trying to get in range over here. He's killing them before they do too much. And then we'll move out of range once again. Now 33 workers down. Polt needs a scan, and he can get rid of these last few Lurkers. The BC, oh my god, I can't believe they are surviving. Those Lurkers are just alive, but Elazer really has not got the supply to survive, so Polt is looking great. BC, the Marauders, the tank, looking good. Going to come to the left-hand side as well. A few more units dropping down here. Parasitic bombs dropping on all the medevacs. Nice split away from Polt, just trying to make the most of this. He's put the parasitic bombs on top of the Vipers. He's killed the Vipers with his own parasitic bombs. Oh my god, Polt is playing like a god right now, and as he almost doubles the supply of Elazer, he's going to take down Lurker after Lurker. BC here to help. Elazer is hanging on by a thread, but is he really? No, he isn't. He's got nothing left. GG, and Polt is going to take game number 1 of this best of 3. Pulling some scenes, there we go. Down a map. In the top left-hand side, our red Zerg player is Elazer. Taking on the blue Terran in the bottom right, Polt, up 1-0, and causing some waves here. And like I say, guys, I think it's very important to keep in mind, Elazer definitely had a good position there, got caught a bit out of position, getting chased home, couldn't get the Lurkers in the right spots, and also didn't seem to have the had money he couldn't spend. I'm pretty sure he was lacking lava that couldn't be actually, you know, just wasn't able to actually make the units he would have wanted to rebuild. So a few little things, and if it wasn't for that, Elazer is probably, you know, just has to hold one attack and he is fine because he did so much eco damage. Let's see if he can get into a similar advantage this time, and again, close it out, play it out without giving it up. Alright, well, Overlord heading down to the bottom right-hand side. Hatch, gas, spawning pool to start us off here. A couple of drones on the way. Barracks early from Polt, and looking like he's just going to get into reactor orbital. Oh, well, sorry, Reaper orbital, then the reactor. See if he wants to build one marine or not. So there's our command center dropping down in the natural, and again, Reaper just about halfway along. So far, so good. SOS was a no-show? Wow, that's so sad. Is that actually true? Let me check the bracket. If that's actually true, maybe he saw Maru was in his bracket and he was just like, yeah, you know what, I'm good. I'm good, I'll stay out. You know what then? I think our main goal will be the innovation section. Because, well, maybe create a Maru, but what do you think is more exciting? Innovation versus Sue, most likely, or create a Maru? I think innovation Sue is a bit more exciting there. Anyways, we'll figure that out later, guys. Sorry, I'm not meaning to get distracted with the other matches. As you do see Queen setting up in the main, Reaper coming forwards, and a couple of Lings taking some shots. So Zerglings start to go down here initially, and we do see again Zergling speed from Elazer just starting up in the main base. Hatchery up on the top side, third base getting set to go. Waiting for some tech choices to be made. Polt is again on double gas, so is again looking towards that starport, not a super fast ACC. Whoa! Did he misbuild what he was going over there? Not sure, but that cost him a little bit of gas, so, you know, build something instantly cancel it does cost you 25% of what it costs, which early in the game can absolutely hurt. Tech lab dropping down on the barracks, a couple of Hellions still building up. You just see that starport is going to be finishing in a few moments' time. So starport finishing shortly as the Reaper from Polt hops up into the main base, has a look around, scout to see what happens. Grenade pops, drone drops, and the Reaper does that mineral line jive as he comes back around to the bottom side here. Queens will get a bit of damage done onto that Reaper as well. There's the fusion core again, so it looks like Polt might just stick with the same style going into game number 2. Battlecruiser opening, probably just the one into bio. Honestly, that BC did a lot in the game. Just came across multiple times, picked off a few drones here, a few drones there. It was just, because you don't go Corruptors, right? It's very annoying because it keeps returning and you have to send Queens over to really deal with it. So because you're playing no Corruptors, because there's not multiple BCs, that one BC is actually much more annoying than you'd expect. Is it worth making Aspire and some Corruptors for one BC? Probably not, unless you're going to play like a Corruptor kind of style. Corruptor Ling Bane's a thing, you know, snipe down the Medivacs and 5's caustic spray down bases. It's not the most preferred style from Zerg players, and that's why you don't see it as kind of like a standard go-to a lot of the time. A couple of Cryptumors there killed off, that's really nice. You can't cancel those anymore to bring them back to the previous spot. Queen's still trying to deal a little bit of damage. Just going to be seeing those Hellions again up to the top left side, and Queen taking some shots, and it's going to go down there eventually, so might well drop. Again, rest of the Hellions out in the center. BC still building from Polt. Stimpack on the way out, and again, just a few Hellions in the center of the map. Poking around, I mean, look at this creep spread denial. And now he's going to kill a Queen. Ooh, well, maybe not because the Lings show up. I mean, that's kind of what the Lings need to do, though. But yeah, look at the creep spread denial. The more creep deny now, the better this is. Yeah, I thought he was going to get that Queen, but the Lings showed up to kind of ruin the day a little bit, as now we see the Stimpack dropping down on that barracks. The extra Queens still making their way through here. 2 more racks in the main base, which is going to be 5 racks in total. Exactly the same as last game so far from Polt, as Elazer starts up Baneling's speed. So gets that going. As you see the Overlord taking some shots here, going to move in and going after a couple of these drones. Some drones already dropping down. It's 3 kills, 4 kills, make that 5, 6. 6 workers down as the BC comes down the bottom left. Overlord still taking some damage. The other BC coming across, and not over the BC, but coming across the other Overlord. He should just teleport. Oh, does he have a teleport? Oh, he's gone too far in. He loses the BC, and that's a shame. Because we know that BC did a lot coming back again and again last time. I thought he had the teleport, but he did not. And that does cost him. Well, little mistake there from Polt, but nothing he can't recover from. Just means a little bit less harassment all the way throughout this. As we do see Evo Chambers dropping down on the natural. The fourth hatchery here, from Elazer, starting up as well. Baneling speed about to complete from Elazer in a moment. Queens from Elazer moving out into the center. Going to drop down some creep tumors here, spreading these out further as well. Rest of this army in the middle of the map and a couple depots to the side. Just starting to wall off those areas as Elazer already playing a very different style. No Hydra in this game. Starts up that 7-minute infestation pit. The goal with the 7-minute infestation pit, you're going to play pure Ling Bane straight through to Ultralisks. So a lot of units counterattack heavy style usually, which is why walling off here from Polt is going to already be a nice little touch. And I'm just kind of amazed, 7.5 minutes, and look how limited Elazer's creep is, really held back so much by the early play of those Hellions, denying it so often. That's why a lot of Zergs open Roaches nowadays, to just protect that creep spread from the Hellions. Now that you can't cancel it, you can just push the Hellions back a bit more easily. Although, you know, just a bit more damage output than the Queens, although the Lings maybe could have been a bit more aggressive as well. That's a last-second getaway for the Medivac here, very low HP, just about surviving. Well, 1-1 melee upgrades still coming through. The 1-1 attack upgrades from Polt finishing here as well. And now Polt pushing up through into the middle of the map. So a lot of Marines, a couple of Medivacs and tanks coming out to the top side. We are going to be seeing the Hive about halfway done from Elazer as well. Here come the Lings and the Banes rolling forwards. Fire already splitting back. A lot of Banelings going off right now. The tanks get picked off, but they kind of soak some of the damage. And no 1-1 upgrades here for Elazer. Polt's going to keep on pushing through. A couple of creep tumors going down. Hey, Polt's getting a lot done here. To the left-hand side, he's going to try and get an Overlord. Doesn't quite make it. Hey, if Polt has reinforcements coming across the map now, he might just win the game here and now. There's no Lings out to make Banes. I'm actually surprised to see Hydras this late in the game. Maybe he was looking for the Infestation Pit to go Lurker down, and then Hive so you can get the Lurker upgrades. It looks like that is the plan, but now he's doing a lot of things at once, and it doesn't feel synced up because the Hive is done way before the Lurker Den. Nothing off that Hive just yet, so Elazer trying to play similar to the last game, but it feels like it's a bit slower setting up. Run by denied for the moment. Drop to the top right. These units still over here going to find an Overlord or two. I mean, the Elazer's hanging around a much higher supply cap than he has supply at the moment, but again, there's a few Lings running here. Polt will have a 2-2 upgrade lead as well, so maybe that's something you can take advantage of at some point. And now he's stimming and he sees this hatchery. All the units are in the bottom left. This hatchery is likely to die before anything gets up there to defend it. These Lings still trying to counterattack. They're going to get shut down as Polt takes a fourth base. And there goes the hatchery. It will be picked off here. Zerglings trying to run in, getting picked away at. All of those Marines lifting up and coming back through the top side. Couple of Vikings getting picked off. On the left, these Marines in the Hellbat pressing back through. A couple of Queens taking a lot of damage. Lings will continue over. Trying to chase this down. And a few of those Medivacs loading up the Marines, pulling them back as well. Groove Spines dropping down from Elazer. More Marines from Polt trying to press forwards too. And the Baneling rolling in. Does get a little connection. He snipes down one more Overlord. When Polt hits 2-2, he's going to push, and he's going to push hard. Especially towards this left-hand side base where there's still limited creep and a lot of high ground and ledges for Polt to utilize to his advantage in taking a fight. So Polt is looking very good to set up the next fight here, as we do see Marines unloading to fight against some of those Zerglings, so a few Lings going down. The rest of this bio army now pressing forwards, and a couple of creep tumors dropping as well. So I can see it will take a little bit of damage, and we're just going to be seeing the creep continue to be picked away at. Lurkers setting up in the middle. Tanks firing away, and a bit more Ling Bane dropping. These Queens still just setting up so much creep spread, as we do see the Marines and the tanks out to the left-hand side. And Ling Bane Hydra to the right, getting pushed back here. First Queen taking some shots. Bane's going to keep on moving forwards. The tanks firing nicely so far. Zergling's going down. Lurkers are going to take a range of fire here as well. And those Lurkers are going to get absolutely destroyed, and Polt is pushing through this position. He's forced the Lurkers back, but now he can pull the tanks further forwards. Meanwhile, the big drop to the top right side. This is more than just 2 Medivacs of units. I mean, there's Overlords already. What's up here from Elazer? A couple of Banelings? You need more than 2 or 3 Banelings to deal with this. That's the issue. This is 2-2 against just +1 attack upgrades as well. Also part of the issue. Marines moving in, cancels off that hatchery. On the left-hand side, Marines and tanks setting up from Polt as well. Tanks moving forwards, we will see the Lurkers already taking a row of fire. Queen gets bombarded backwards. Big abduct in, tank gets picked off. Tank number 2, 3, and 4. The Vipers are putting the dirt in here right now. And because of that, the tank count goes down, and maybe those Lurkers can't be broken. Bolt's still pushing the right side, denying creep and making these bases easier to hit at later stages. 4 bases from him right now and building up so many orbitals. He's got so many scans, really necessary when you're playing against Lurkers and you require scans for the fights. There's Wings and Lurkers coming around the right. Hydra's moving around too. Lurker shots are good at the moment. This one Marine will be picked away at. 8 more Hydras coming up here. +2 missiles about to finish. Everything looking good so far. Another Lurker dropping down. And the rest of this from Elazer coming back up to the top side. Tanks firing, and we do see the Spore Crawler being picked away at. Hydra's taking damage as well. He has put the Vipers back again though, and now the tank count is going to be gone. So now Polt doesn't really have the tanks. Oh, it's a Lurker in the middle of the map. Going to start killing some Marines. He will scan and kill it in the end. Well, Queen's here, ripe for picking as well. You actually see that with the Medivacs now, but Lurkers making a move forward. It's a bit of a larger army press into the middle. Medivacs of Polt going to load up to the left-hand side, and you just see a big push up the top. Lurkers immediately going to get struck down here. So Lurkers will drop down. Hydra's getting taken down. Hatchery will fall. Drone gets picked off as well. So the left-hand side, Medivac's going to go boosting in towards the natural expansion. A lot of these drones getting picked away at. Spore Crawlers being picked away at as well. That's a good amount of damage done here by Polt. So doing a very good job of this. These Hydras pressing through. Last few Marines getting picked off. But Polt is getting picked away at here, trying to break Elazer down on 4 bases. Now he's gone up to 5 bases himself. He's kept Elazer back, but recently he's not been trading as well as before. Like, resources lost is still good for him, but he has been losing a few extra units. Now he has money to spend, so if he can spend that money, great. What he needs to make sure of, though, is he doesn't just get broken down by one big push forwards, but he has got Liberators now. I feel like that's always a big benefit when playing against these Hydra Lurker styles. Although Lib range usually goes a long way to help with that, he should be able to get it because he's got the Fusion Core, but he hasn't invested into it yet. So missing out on that Liberator range. As a few Medivacs will load up, they'll go to the right side, so Polt's going to try and give them the drops. Now Polt is playing defensively, right? And the Vipers will abduct a couple units in, but overall I think Polt defensively will hold this off. And it's going to be the drop to take advantage of the fact that Elazer's entire army is over here. It does fly over a Zerglin, so maybe Elazer has seen this, and if he didn't see it the first time, he will see it with the Overlord right now, although Polt's already unloading, so he can't be intercepted. His bottom left base here, can that hold on? Polt will have to pull all the way from the right to the left to fight this. And with the map here, you've got a lot of choke points, which will obviously make it difficult to attack into Lurkers. Picks off the one Lurker there in the center, and Polt's just going to go counterattack. He says, okay, you take down my 5th base, but, well, it's not like you have a 5th base either if I go across the map and fight right away. It's just going to see this little bio army coming across. Ghosts involved, 11 SCVs going down. These Lurkers will be getting some good damage. A lot of the SCVs were just down here getting picked away as the Hydras gave chase. Now these SCVs going down too, though, so Polt's economy is really dropping down low. The bio army from Polt coming back down the bottom. Lurker still firing. Bio picks off another Lurker or two. Still some more units coming down. Extra Banes in the center. Vipers will be to the right, and again looking for an Abductor too. Pressing forwards, Lurker will burrow up, and we do just have the rest of these Lurkers here. I mean, 6 SCVs, 7 SCVs down. Polt's just losing so much of his economy. I mean, I do like the idea of still the big counter drops, but now a Ghost getting abducted, another tank. Elazer's got a 5th base up, and it feels like that's what he's really needed to start making a bigger difference in this game. We'll find a Lurker down here. Needs another scan for the other couple, though. I feel like he's added these Ghosts into play, by the way, and hasn't done anything with them as he ran in here, and the Lurkers did a lot of damage. that entire triple drop gets cleaned on up. Maybe Polt, I think, was just paying attention over here as he ran in, so he lost way too much, way too quickly. And eventually, Elazer is winning out this game after Polt put himself in a great spot, put a lot of pressure on Elazer. Couple snipes line up there to take down those lurkers. Polt still has an army supply that can fight, but it's getting very close now. And with the Vipers in play as well, it's getting tough. Those Lings move commanding around. Oh my god, he's just burrowed all the Lings. Well, he realizes that was a mistake, although Polt stims again. Look at those medevacs, drained of energy. They've been healing non-stop. Elazer still taking more bases. If Polt can get up here, he can section off the 5th base from reinforcements. In fact, he's just going to kill the 5th base again. And Elazer really hasn't got much more mining still going on. 4 base against 4 base this game pretty much throughout. They've both had a 5th base for a moment or two, but not much more than that. Now the Ghost trying to set up some snipes. Blinding Clouds on the siege tanks, letting the Hydras get into range. Some more snipes trying to come in here. The Lurkers on the top side. No scanner available right away. Polt's just going to pull back away from here. Lines up a snipe. One more Lurker going down. 17 drones have died in this little push as these Hydras are on their own. This bio army is so low. Polt's stimming so much to get in the position, chase Lurkers, get away, get out of trouble. And in the end, it's kind of really hurting him. There's another Hydra or 2 going down. The Overseer sniped out of the sky. There's so many Overseers, though, because Elazer knows he just doesn't want those being taken down and the Ghost being able to clean up because there's no detection left from him. Polt pulls back. Down 20 workers, down 20 army supply. He has spare orbitals, which he will try to move into a 5th base location. He could maybe try and take the right as well, but there is an issue with, spreading yourself too thinly. You definitely don't want to do that. Lurkers burrowing up, and we do see real SCVs starting to drop, and it's the push into position here from Elazer as Polt's trying to get rid of the Lurkers, which are really being the issue. When he's got these lower numbers of bio units, he's struggling to clean them up. He will get rid of a couple here, but the Ghosts are low HP, so they are going down as well. Polt has units in the top right. He needs a scan to deny these Lurkers. He needs to pick them off ASAP, and I'm just afraid that that's not fast enough, right? The number of bio units there aren't cutting it. He's now going to lose the 3rd base entirely, and a couple of orbitals along with it, so he's losing mules that he was using at least to try and stay in the game a bit. These Hydras fighting on their own, though. Again, Hydras on their own will not do well. Ghost sniping down. Polt trying to stay in this as a couple of Marauders on the top side will go until the medevacs have not got no energy left to heal them anymore. Tries to boost one away. The other one will leave the Marauder here fighting. Polt moving across the map again. I mean, this time Elazer's trying to pull back once more. We're going to see... Again, Lings and Hydras on their own don't trade well. It's the Lurkers he's really relying on to deal damage. So if the Lurkers aren't in position, there's only 6 of them left. They're trying to run around over here. If he can line up the snipes and the Lurkers ahead of time, I want to say there's maybe a bit of potential, but the Lurkers burrow so quickly now, they get in range. And as soon as the Ghosts take damage, their snipes are cancelled, and that's the issue. As Polt tries to escape away over here, he'll try and line up some snipes now and gets a few of the Hydras, but in the end he is still running. No medevac support, a few more bio units streaming into the middle. Well, the Lurkers are left behind though, so maybe if he can somehow turn and take a bit of a fight. Nice abduct, cancels the snipe. Every unit counts right now, and Elazer is keeping his units alive with abducts like that one. He cleans up this army to the right. I really think that is the breaking moment as Elazer loses a Lurker here, but he's got the Lings and these bio units now. They're just not in good enough numbers to make it work anymore. Kills a hatchery, yes, but these units will be cleaned up. He puts himself right in the corner, but Polt types GG as Elazer takes an amazing game number 2, 20 minutes here on Nightshade. Third map of Elazer and Polt. What a series this is turning out to be. In the top left-hand side, the red Zerg is Elazer. That time it felt like Polt had all the advantages and Elazer fought back into it. Makes it a really fun series to watch, as in the bottom right, our blue Terran player is Polt. So a bit of TvZ to get this going. Overlord's moving around a little bit, looking to see what will start to happen out and around on the map. So a little bit of a moment or two of calm before we get into maybe another hectic game here. I do have to apologize, guys. I think at some point I got a little bit too excited. I mentioned the parasitic bomb, which was attached to a medevac, dealing some units. I'm not actually sure. I really thought that parasitic bomb, maybe I'm being really stupid here, but I really thought parasitic bomb did damage to friendly units as well, while it was still on a target unit. So if you parasitic bomb the medevac, and then the medevac flies to the Vipers, does that not deal that damage? I'm not actually sure. Someone's called me out for it, and now I'm second guessing myself. So I'm trying to investigate as we go, as this Reaper sets up and we get this underway. I don't think it does. I think I just got caught up in the moment and didn't see the Marines. Alright, well, nonetheless, here's me trying to figure out start of the game as we just watch this Reaper. I talk a little bit more about the early game, but I think reality is we're just seeing a pretty standard setup here to get going. A couple of Hellions on the way out, barracks building up this tech lab here, starport about to complete. 6 extra drones on the way out. There's the Nubataz carapace in the main base, and this Reaper is just going to pull back away through to the center of the map. So that Reaper back into the middle. And there it is again, same build from Polt. Now, this time Elazer going to go Nubataz carapace, so again, looking to scout early and try and get in to figure out what this is going to be. As we have the Reaper popping up into the main here. So Reaper moving around the top left-hand side. Fusion core about halfway done. Really, Polt's just not changing it up, and that might be his downfall in this series if Elazer can start to say, okay, you're doing this each and every time. If you're doing that each and every time, I can start to do certain things against it at certain points and stuff like that as well. As the few Hellions coming back up to the upper left and just going to be seeing a Fusion core setting up as well in the main, and we do see those Hellions again over to the left-hand side of this. Battlecruiser on the way from Polt. And more of those Hellions just coming across to the far left, trying to find themselves a way to get into position. Well, just a little bit of damage here and there. And we're trying this time from Elazer, which is already a difference, right? And one of the things he did struggle with in the last game is that he was not able to get the creep out very easily. So he was not able to get the creep out very easily, and because of that, I think the roaches here are a nice idea, but he actually ends up cancelling the Roachron. Maybe he's just afraid of mech, and he's going Roachron, sees it is going to be bio, and then says, well, you know what? If this is going to be bio, I'm just going to set up in towards a Baneling nest instead. So, setting up towards that. Hellions up on the top side, and trying to push through here. Queen's able to deal some damage, and those Hellions taking some shots. As we will on the bottom have Overlords moving around a little bit, so far so good. Lair Baneling nest coming up, and we'll just see that Bane speed nice and quickly. BC comes in there and starts to get some damage done. A couple of drones dropping down. 3, 4, 5 workers, 6 workers. Wow, what a start this time around, huh? Queen's just super out of position, and could have target fired down maybe a couple more workers here, you could argue. This Polt maybe could have had 11 or so there. The target fire was a bit better, but, well, it wasn't, and that's not the end of the world. You still killed 8 workers for just 1 BC. It's really not a bad start. Obviously, Elazer is really having a happy time just going for the same style. So Infestation Pit again. So I really thought this was going to be up to high for Ultras, but it seems like he goes Infestation Pit, then very soon after Hydra Den to try and line up that Lurker Den and Hive. Now, last game, Polt put on some pressure, but kind of through the time as the Lurker Den felt a bit late. Eventually, he did get there, though. So unless Elazer just wants to change his style, and this time maybe he does go up into Hive and into the Ultra Cavern. This is a faster Infestation Pit. So last time I talked about like a 7-minute Infestation Pit. This was like 6:15. So it is about 45 seconds earlier than the previous game. The Marines will hunt down an Overlord, another Overlord here, right for killing. But no, Hive and a Hydra's Den, so kind of a similar idea once again. Because the Hydra Den builds so fast, it means the Lurker Den should finish when the Hive is done, and then, at the same time, you can go into the Seismic Spines as soon as the Lurker Den is complete, and that's exactly what you're really aiming for. You know, that is your top priority, I would say, is a few Creep Tumors coming out the front. Armory dropping down from Polt in the main base, and just going to be seeing Creep pushing out through the center of the map. This single Overlord heading down the bottom as well, and Polt going into the center. So a few Hellions leading the charge, the Marines pressing through, and I mean, again, you can't cancel those Creep Tumors nowadays, so they will go down. Polt going to get sieged up here. Needs to target fire the Banelings. Doesn't do so well enough or fast enough, and so the Banelings will get the connections on the Marine, and that's a swift cleanup from Elazer. So this time around, Polt's not doing a lot with the initial push, and that might make the difference, because, you know, back to this point of Elazer, now maybe having a bit more momentum on his side, a few less issues. I mean, that should be, theoretically, pretty great for him, as we see some extra Vipers on the way up from Elazer as well, so getting those Vipers underway, Adrenal Glands dropping down on the spawning pool, and really, again, just moving straight through the Hive Tech, and all the Hive Tech as well. Vipers on the way out, as the Lurker Den finishes up. Again, it doesn't quite line up with the Hive, but he is going to be able to start the Seismic Spines now, and he will have those Lurkers out, so Elazer is obviously quite happy with the style he's been playing, despite the scrappy games it's put him into. In fairness, you look back at that game 1 and everything was okay for Elazer, you know, it was scrappy and he lost it in the end, but the position he got into was good, and I'm sure he'll know the mistakes he made to fix up and, you know, get going a bit better. This is where Polt is strongest though. Not a lot of Banelings on the map, only really Lings and Hydras in low numbers, and these drops are able to do quite a bit in these scenarios. So this is when Polt will do a little bit more. He's cleaned out a lot of the creep down the bottom side, and because the Queens are busy dealing with the DC on the top side, that creep is not being replaced very quickly. So that does open maybe a bit of a push path down the bottom in towards this base here. In general, though, you probably want to be hitting these bases up here, those fresher bases of the Zerg that have more recently come up. And in fairness, this one doesn't have much creep in front of it, so Polt can go up the top, but that does involve pushing further away from the third and reinforcements. And Polt will set up that multi-pronged again. Drops down the bottom left-hand side, as you also see the rest of the attack to the top. So Medivacs, Marines, and tanks all the way up to the top at the moment here. A lot of Zerglings from Elazer moving into the center. Those Marines from Polt already dealing quite a bit of damage to those Zerglings. So Fueling is going down. Meanwhile, these Marines stemming in, and Zerglings taking a lot of damage. So Zerglings will go down. Queens under some heavy fire here. Hatchery starting to take some heavy fire as well. 9 workers already going down. A few Marines coming over, and, well, actually 10 SCVs dropping. It's a good little run by. At the same time, though, Polt, he's probably going to get this hatchery unless Banelings show up in a moment. Tanks firing away, Queens dropping. And we do have the Medivacs in the end, do lift up and leave. So this hatch is saved. The Banelings showed up, and that's what you need. He is able to kill the 5th base, though, and again, Elazer is struggling to hold at this point. This is kind of what we've seen time and time again in this series. These little pushes that Polt can do, hit a drop at the same time, and is able to get a lot done with it. A few Creep Tumors going down then as Polt pulls back over to the right. Vipers from Elazer. Around to the top. Couple of Lurkers setting up as well. Hatchery will drop down to set up a 5th base here, as we do have the Adaptive Talons about halfway along in the army of Polt over to the right hand side. We're just going to be seeing a Zergling picked off, a few Zerglings down the bottom as well. Still got these Lurkers, Banes, and Hydras and Lings setting up too. In the bottom left, the Medivac's going to go boosting around, and Polt, it's a similar idea to before. The thing is, I kind of think this style is something Polt should be good against, because it gives Polt a chance to just stay on this kind of bio-aggressive style for a lot longer in the game than usual. I mean, stacking up to Ghosts again now, but I don't think that's like something you have to do. There's only a couple of Banes will hit this mineral line. The depots give Polt the warning he needs, and he doesn't lose any SCVs to that attack. Now we're dropping the main base and already starting to pick away at a few Lings. The Vipers here now though, so the Medivacs, well, Parasitic Bomb will drop and going to turn back around into the natural expansion. And you see the bio continue to press forwards. A couple of drones going down. Creep Tumors being killed. Stepping forwards here, this Lurker taking a bit more damage. I mean, 8 Lurkers killed. It's a nice blinding cloud because it forces the Marines to kind of move command forwards into the lurker fire. Hey, big blinding clouds on the tanks. Polt will just go for a lift up. Oh my god, he abandons his siege tanks here. But Polt's going to lose a lot because of that. But going into the main, he might be able to get a lot done as well because, well, again, it's finding locations where the lurkers aren't already set up and ready to go. And that's what Polt has done so well to keep himself in good positions in these games. 3-3 upgrades from Polt, just setting up as we see the Medivacs back down through the center of the map. This one missile attack on the Evo chamber. A little bit more Ling Hydra Lurker up to the top side as well. We're going to try and clean up these Medivacs. The Medivacs will load up and boost away. So first Medivac already going down. Here comes a bit of bio stemming into the middle of the map. Overlord is going to get sniped down. A couple of creep teamers picked up. Bottom left-hand side, a hatchery from Elazer. Getting ready to go as well. Just going to be seeing 3-3 upgrades coming through. And that's going to be one of Polt's advantages as well. He's going to have 3-3 against, well, 2-2. And the Hydras don't even have attack upgrades yet, but they are getting there. +1 at least about to kick in, so it's something. Another push from Polt heading out into the center of the map here. So Polt into the middle, a few Marines to lead the charge. Is already setting up, and well, tanks will just siege. I mean, the creep isn't super far out on the map. It is far enough forward so that Polt can't just get in range of hatcheries right away, but it's turning into what that last game was for a while, where Elazer struggled to get off 4 bases. Polt this time is onto a 5th base a bit more easily as well, but it looks like Elazer will probably get to 5 bases here too. As Polt just coming around, he'll see this army. Oh, I mean, there's only a couple of Banes. I'm never really worried when I see this army and there's only a couple of Banes in it for the Terran, because then, you know, if there's no Banelings, can't you just deal with the Hydras? Well, those tanks do get blinding clouded, but now we're dropping the main base once more. And again, Polt is looking to apply some pressures. We do see the bio over here. Man, it really is those blinding clouds saving the day. The tanks, how many times have we seen them just massively clumped up, and the blinding clouds able to take real advantage? High ground Ghost should be sniping. I'm not sure why more of them weren't lining up the snipes already. Dropping the bottom left denies the base. This drop here is just sat there, not moving forwards. Is there a lurker? No. Now Elazer sending some Lings to the main to help. He picks off this orbital command down here, so Polt will lose a base he can replace pretty quickly. Because these Marines will just get a few more creep teamers and he'll split up to try and fight the lurker, and he'll get it. The lurker's not lined up well there. Going behind the mineral line and then left, leave, boosting. Full Medivac's the one that goes down, unfortunately. And the drop in the main wasn't taken advantage of, so Polt, not a great couple of moments as his drops get cleaned up. He loses a base as well. And in the process of it all, he doesn't really clean up much, and that's the issue. Not killing much in all of this really does hurt him, as we're going to be seeing the bio up to the top side. More of the army from Elazer gathering out in the middle. Marine's going to be stemming forwards here, and certainly will go down. Bio will be able to pick off the lurker. I'm just going to be seeing more of these Lings from Elazer all the way down to the bottom right. 11 more Banes on the way up again. As you see, 3-3 upgrades coming through too, so finally some extra upgrades from Elazer that are only going to help him out further in these fights, as right now these Lings getting a good surround just doesn't matter, right? You're 3-3 against 2-2 as the Terran. You can win those fights even if the Lings have Adrenal. It's a big fight up here. Again, blinding clouds are kind of telling the story of it all, though. As the Banelings run on through, we're going to be seeing the Ghost able to pull back a bit further. A couple more snipes line up. Viper goes down. More Lings and Hydras getting picked away at. Lurker's getting burrowed, as we will see. Polt pulling a few more Ghosts up to the top side here. We'll be lining up, well, maybe a snipe off on a Hydra or two over here. Bio pushing forwards. The Lurker's still dropping. As Polt spreads out, he's going to set up a few of the snipes available to try and take those Lurkers down. More Medivacs up to the top. So they will go boosting up to the top side. Lurker gets taken down here, and we are going to be seeing the army from Polt still at least hanging in there, even if the supply's starting to drop. But he's also got money to spend. Elazer now finally on the 5 bases, and look at that static defense he sets up. He just doesn't want these pushes and little drops, because that's what Polt has been so successful with. A couple of drops that realistically these spines and spores are so good against. if you just get them up, the stack defense really shuts down what Polt has been using to his advantage for most of the game. Bit more bio coming up the right-hand side. Bio still coming up all the way to the top right. There's a few lings here. Going to get picked away at SCV's repairing the plant down forward. Some snipes lining up and Bio picking off as much as they can. And this is not a good fight from Elazer. He will lose a lot over here. So a lot cleaned up there for Elazer. A little bit more. Hydra moving over the right-hand side, going after a couple of those Marauders. He's picking off more of those Zerglings. Hydra's on the bottom side being picked away at as well. That medevac will go down. There's another lurker that burrows up. Polt's just trying to take this forward base too, but by Elazer attacking forwards there, he's able to deny that. Still pressing through, a few snipes coming down, and that's going to be a few of those Vipers getting picked away at. So a few Vipers will drop, lurkers on the way out again. 4 more Ghosts, 8 more Marines, 2 more Medevacs. Still Lings trying to attack down here, but Polt's able to clean up another lurker a bit. A few more of those Zerglings. So a few more Lings being picked up as Lings and lurkers pressing forwards here. Tanks firing. This is a push from Elazer up the ramp, and it will break into a base of Polt, and now Polt's going to be forced to fight those lurkers, and this is where not having ranged Liberators will really hurt. It will really, really hurt. On the bottom side, a few more snipes lining up as he tries to at least get through the Hydras, then get into range of the lurkers at the very least. Bio at the top, pushing around. Lurkers coming forwards. Bio will stim onto one of the lurkers there, but again, the Ghosts are just immediately in trouble. I'm really not sure if I like the Ghosts against this. Like, I get the idea, right? The snipes you can line up, but I feel like he's not getting a lot of the snipes off a lot of the time. Oh, it's crazy, right? It just feels like there should be so much more potential overall. We see a tank firing, this hatchery taking some damage in the main base. Bio trying to drop around. There's just units everywhere, and lurkers are just slowly dealing so much damage. This mineral line's in trouble. You know, these units over here will at least scan to take this out. Couple lurkers firing away. Actually, target firing the planetary fortress there rather than SCVs. He could have killed so many SCVs, and I think a similar story here. Didn't kill as much as I thought. There's the target fire, and he kills immediately 6 workers. The command center coming up in the top right, and Ling Hydra still pressing over. Medevacs unloading a few Ghosts here too. So a few Ghosts popping out, a couple of Lings picked off already. And this Ling Hydra forces trying to press into the rest of these Marines. Also going down, 9 more Hydras on the way out, and on the bottom side, tanks will see hatchery picked off. Polt is hanging in here, and you know, overall the supplies are getting very close. Polt's actually ahead on army supply. And the thing is, Elazer's work account doesn't mean much right now. Look at this income graph. He's mining more, but that will be dropping off as he loses bases. He has drones oversaturated. That's not going to be as big as it was. Polt's going to find 2 more lurkers here, and right now every lurker is counting for a lot. Concussive shells will kill this one. As we're going to go see a GG. Polt is going to be taking the game. Elazer just leaves, just doesn't have the army to keep withstanding this onslaught of Polt, and Polt is going to take the series 2-1 to advance through to the next round, and I don't even know who he plays. I wasn't even thinking about casting the next round of this. But that is crazy. Polt advances over Elazer in an hour-long series.